Hi, everybody. This is Greg and Mark with Sigmar and Son, and we're here tonight on a special episode of Sigmar and Son. And that is because this weekend, boy, do we take the wrong weekend to take off and not do a show. A ton of news hit, and we thought we'd come on live tonight, talk about it, and catch up with what we know, throw in a little bit of our speculation, what we're hoping for, what we'd like to see. And the big news is that this Age of Sigmar 2, or a new edition, has been announced at the Warhammer Fest this weekend over in England. And Mark has followed this news a lot more than I have. And so I'm going to let him lead this episode tonight. So, Mark, take it away.
All right. So all the news. Are you getting an echo?
I am not.
Okay. All right. So all the news from Warhammer Fest. We have Age of Sigmar 2.0, like my dad said. So why don't we kind of move into what we know about what Age of Sigmar 2.0 is going to entail. So right now we know that you're going to have a new starter edition for a new starter for the new edition. You're going to have Stormcast versus Nighthaunts. Let me see if I can share my screen and we can pull up a couple pictures of this.
Apparently not.
I'm getting to it. Sorry, I clicked on the wrong screen. All right. All right. So right now, it looks like, so this is kind of your questions answered, but here's the kind of cinematic picture for what the starter set is going to entail. It's going to be the Stormcast right here, and then you have your Nighthaunt, and there's a lot of Nighthaunts being added. There was only 4 previously, I believe, and you're going to have it's a full fleshed out army kind of now. So next we move on. Are you going to be? I know you like Death Dead. Are you going to be collecting any of these Nighthaunts?
I'm not sure yet. I might get the Nighthaunts. I just got to see them and the rules, to be honest. I did really like the Stormcast Eternal stuff that came out too, and I might have to try and move toward something where I could get some combined order or whatever with some of those. I'm sure we'll get the starter set though.
Right. All right. So in a video they announced in the, where do I have this? Doesn't matter. And they came out with an announcement video, and it basically said they came up with some stuff that will be changing. So we've got no shooting out of combat. So I don't think that will be necessarily no shoot. Like if you're in combat, you can't shoot. I think it'll be if you're in combat, you have to shoot who you're in combat with, or something like.
Why don't we
have to shoot that? The model that's shooting has to shoot the closest model.
Right. Why don't we go through this list that you provided me, and then we'll come back to each thing and talk about what we think it means.
Okay. So what we know Stormcast versus Nighthaunt starter set, no shooting out of combat, a more cinematic magic for Age of Sigmar, a more strategic double turn. Each hero, not just the general, is able to use their command ability, which I think is really cool. So everything will still be free, which is great. So core rules and war scrolls will still be free. All existing battle tomes are usable, so that kind of shows that the core system will basically be somewhat of the same. General's Handbook 18 will come out in June along with the AOS 2nd edition. And then we'll have new models for Evergreen Alliance, and we can talk about this later, and then changes coming to points and war scrolls. So because of the changes of the 2.0 rules, you're going to have some models, points may be adjusted, and war scrolls will have to be adjusted to match the new rules.
Right. And so the other thing that's going with that, and I know you talked about this later, is that there is the one thing we saw, which I think is really going to be important or in the game, is something called command dice. And so we are expecting that is going to have some effect on the things like the um, the double turn being more strategic, and things like being able to all your models being able to use their command abilities. So we can kind of, I guess, start there. All your models be able to use command abilities.
Yeah, I think so. They said that there's going to be a command point system. I don't know exactly how many. I mean, we don't know how many points you're going to get or what that exactly entails. But I would assume that perhaps it'll be like it's a point to use a command ability or something of that fact, or maybe they'll even say like some command abilities are this many points, where some are this many points.
Right.
And that might play into that. And then I think there might be somewhat of like a bid system on using command points for increasing initiative, which kind of goes into the more strategic double turn. But we'll just have to wait and see for the exact ruling. These are just kind of our guesses.
Right. And so I used to play a game called Legions of Steel, which ironically was a competitor to the Space Hulk. But basically, they had leadership points in there, and I'm thinking it might be something like that, where you basically you roll a die, or in this game, I can envision you rolling a die for your initiative, and then you could use some of your command points. And they had different dice. The dice had different sides, so I'm envisioning different types of command points you may have. So you could use a certain type of command point maybe in your command point pool to change the initiative die by +1 or +2 or something. And so I'm kind of envisioning that, and that would help the double turn. So it's having command points, and you could, at the sacrifice perhaps of not using command points for command abilities, you can build your double turn. And so I also think that, like Mark said, command abilities are going to be triggered by those command points. So I don't think it's a set. I don't think they're going to go with a set. Every single model is going to be able to use all of their command abilities every turn.
I think that just might make some factions too good and heroes too good.
Right. And so I think that you're exactly right. You're just going to have these dice are going to generate command points, and you can use the command points to activate some command abilities on other people.
Right.
Maybe that'll be in a bubble of the general. Maybe it'll be, maybe it'll cost more if you're not in the bubble. Who knows? Haven't really seen.
Yeah, they haven't come up with any stuff about it. It was just in the one announcement video with the guy talking.
Right. So we know, or at least we met at Adepticon, some of the playtesters, and have really listened. I've listened to a lot of their shows and podcasts and things, and they haven't tipped us off to anything, but I do know that they've got a lot of quality people involved with the play testing, and so I expect things to go a whole lot smoother than they had.
Yeah, I've got nothing but faith in them. I think that this edition will kick off fine.
Right. So I guess the other thing you listed here is that the one thing that they did say was that all battle tomes that exist now are still going to exist. And
still going to exist. They're still usable.
So I think that the basic game, like you're saying, is, they're not going to change like somebody's move or save or attacks, or maybe not even damage. I don't think you're going to see that happen. So the basic game, I think, is going to stay the same.
Yeah, I think it'll just be more of a cleanup.
Right. There's been a lot of errata, so you could certainly see that. But I do think it's going to be more than that. Going back to your, with everything being free and everything, and it being a cleanup, I could see where you're going to be using, how do I want to say it? These guys are going to have these. My mind has gone blank. Poof. yeah, with everything being a cleanup, you're just going to have the same rules for things. But I think you might have some slight changes, and I think like they were talking about the no shooting out of combat.
Yeah, that doesn't affect any of the rules. Just
right. I think that they might come out with rules, for bases. To be honest, I think that they might come out with at least in the General's Handbook. I would expect in General's Handbook they're going to tell you need round bases and give base sizes kind of in the column next to the points.
Yeah, I think they might say for pitched battles you need this base size and blah blah blah. But if you're doing narrative,
for narrative,
whatever the heck you want, like they have been doing.
Right, exactly. Narrative, do whatever you want. You don't have to use the bases, and you can use whatever models. But for pitched battles, or if you're playing in the point tournament system, then you're going to need round bases, and they're going to give you the size. I think that's my prediction. I don't know if it's true, but they've been at least the tournaments and stuff have kind of been leading this way, and so I have a feeling that's probably the way what they're going to go. So I guess we're talking about points, and so General's Handbook is coming out with this, right?
Yep, next month.
Next month, and all this is hitting next month. So they're not only General's Handbook 18, but AOS 2.0, and that's going to be 2 rule books, right? 2 books coming out. We don't know about the.
The rules will be free, so I mean it'll be a PDF online that you can get. So, and then I assume it'll just be the General's Handbook.
I think there's going to be more than that, because they talked about maps and lots of maps and rules for every realm. And a lot of dare I say fluff or background lore. I think there's going to be like when Age of Sigmar 1 or first came out, they gave the free 4-page rule book, but they came out with a rule book that basically had the lore of what was going on. And I think they're going to expand a lot on that with this. So I think they're going to have one book that's going to have lore.
Yeah, you could be right.
And the moral realms and battles in the moral realms and things like that for all the different things. And then they're going to have, I think, the General's Handbook, which is going to be how to, use that for each army or each battle tome, and they'll have the revised spells or whatever and artifacts and everything for each of those guys.
Yeah, you could be right in that. Or one will be more of like a narrative thing, and one will be more of like General's Handbook is more of the tournament player stuff.
Or and the reason I say that is because I don't think they're going to want to. First of all, you're going to put all that in the tournament book, the points book, and they say they're going to come out with a new General's Handbook every year. So they're not going to want to have. They're going to have that other book that's going to have the lore and everything for 2.0. They're going to want to have that available for multiple years.
Yeah, you're 100% right. I would agree that there will be 2 rule books now, or a rule book and a comprehensive guide of the Mortal Realms or whatever.
Right, and it is Games Workshop, so 2 books is more money than 1.
They've been pretty good about money so far with everything. What? They've been pretty good with just giving good value to stuff recently.
Right. So
let's move on. So we've got changes coming to points and War Scrolls. I think we kind of already went over that.
Yeah, well, so the I think that I don't think that they're going to change. I mean, they might change points because things might get a lot better. So let's talk about the shooting.
So shooting, yeah. So they have not said what the exact rule is going to be, but like I said, I think it'll be like you have to shoot the closest model or you have to shoot who you're in combat with if you are, in combat or whatever. And I think this will make a change. This will make them change points for almost every shooting unit. I think it'll be dropped down a couple points, not anything crazy, but they'll be dropped down some points.
I would be surprised if they drop the points down because they're going to still say that they can shoot and they could still shoot. I think they're going to be able to shoot. And I'm going to say if they're in melee combat, so the interesting thing is what are they considering combat? So if your guy is within 3 inches to another guy, he can't shoot. But if he's outside of 3 inches, he can shoot at anybody he wants. So you can split your fire. You know, it's not like the old 8th edition where your whole block of 20 guys had to shoot the same thing. So I think that basically if you're locked in combat with somebody, you have to shoot them. If you're not, then you can shoot wherever you want. So like the whole 3-inch pile in. And if you have multiple people, then you can shoot whoever you're touching. That's kind of my thought. But again, this is all speculation. So I don't want to say anything there.
Yeah. I think it'll be one of the two things we said, either shoot who you're in combat with or shoot the closest model, basically.
Mm-hmm. Well, shoot the closest model doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Only if you're in combat, though, right?
Yeah, only if you're in combat, you shoot the closest model.
Okay.
If your unit is in combat, you have to shoot the closest model.
Okay. Interesting. So the cinematic magic, now that's something different. It's kind of like a supplement or something, but it's going to come out with everything. I saw some pictures of this. Mark, do you have those?
Yeah, I'll pull them up right now.
And so these were basically they're going to make models for spells. And if you guys saw the Adepticon preview, you saw this like purple sun looking thing. And so there's like a living purple sun, which is probably going to be.
Here's the purple sun.
Right.
That thing is, what do you think that's on? 100 millimeter base? That thing's big. It's large.
Yeah, maybe an 80.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Have you looked at these like in depth or anything?
Other than the pictures, I haven't.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's all we know about is the rules. But I think this one, the destruction one, I think is by far the sweetest looking one.
Yeah, and this was a I don't know if there's a way to lock onto you. Yeah, there. And so basically, this one here, we've I think that they were spoiling last week, and everybody was saying that's a squig, it's a squig.
No.
And so this was the picture that I think everybody was thinking was a squig. And so, Mark, why don't you change some of the other ones because I got your screen locked onto you.
Okay, and we got this thing kind of, I really don't know what it is. It's got faces coming out of this like ball of miasma.
Yeah, and so I haven't gone back to 8th edition to look at spells, but I'm assuming they're going to pull these spell names out of 8th edition.
Testicles of death here.
Yeah, or lightning. And so I can easily see I think that's the coolest one.
That one's sweet. But yeah, so supposedly these are kind of like roaming models that you'll cast. And I could see where it's like, oh, you want your wizard to have the purple sun that costs 80 points or 100 points for the ability to cast the spell. I think these spells will cost points in your army, similar to kind of how the Balewind Vortex operates.
Yeah, I was just going to say they're like the Balewind. So the other thing is that I guess I was trying to go back to present to everyone.
Oh, me?
Oh, me present to everyone.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't see myself coming up.
No, you're good. It's just you presenting now to yourself. It's not switching back and forth.
I just wanted it to do the auto switch thing.
There you go. It's doing it now.
Okay, so sorry about that. We're going to learn all this new technology, doing the live streaming. And hey, by the way, we did a show a couple days ago, 5 days ago. You might not have seen it because we recorded it ahead of time. And then we made it private to try and have it come out on the weekend like normal. But when we did that, when we made it out of normal, a normal viewable video, it didn't send notifications out. So if you're watching this and you don't know about episode 4, where we talked with Dave and NashCon and talked really about kind of how to go about running some tournaments and stuff, go make sure you check that out.
Mm-hmm.
So Stormcast and Night Haunts.
Yeah, Stormcast versus Night Haunts. We can get into those a little bit later. I'd actually like to talk about one thing with the two of the malign portents models, the harbingers, right? You have the Lord Ordinator, however you say his name, and the Nighthawk guy, I forget his name. But they have now army models have come out revolving around their army.
Right. So like the Lord Ordinator in Malign Portents, and I got the books somewhere here, but basically he gave an ability that helped war machines in your army.
Yep.
And everybody's like, well, Stormcast don't have any war machines. Well,
we'll look at them later. Now they do. Yep. Lightning javelin thingies.
Right.
But personally, I think that the Night Haunts, or not the Night Haunts, the Night Goblins, or whatever we're calling them, I think they will get their own faction, and I think so will the Slaves to Darkness will get a faction or some models released later on.
So the guy was basically was it a Moon Clan Grot or something?
Yeah.
And so the shaman, the fungoid cave shaman, was one of the grots. And so, yeah, the rumors are that there's going to be like a grot release at some point. And the other rumors are that there's, speculating all this, I guess, going with this is that there's going to be some sort of Slaves to Darkness re-release or upgrade. Honestly, I just was working on a bunch of those Marauders, and they're pretty horrible old sculpts. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that.
Yeah, I could see an up, maybe not even, maybe some new models and just an update of some old ugly sculpts. So yeah, that's kind of what we know about Age of Sigmar 2.0 right now. Is there anything we did not touch on, Dad?
Well, let's go into the two armies. I mean, I know they did more armies, so there's I guess there's a new web page to try and keep track of this called ageofsigmar.com, which is different that they have. And yeah, the army. So there's a new chamber that came out for the Stormcast.
Yep.
That chamber is
the Sacrosanct Chamber.
And they came out with a pretty cool little thing with it.
I actually had a good chuckle at it.
Yeah, that they basically came out with a little video saying somebody sort of dressed up, or it was a cartoon. Oh, and that's the other thing that I guess they announced a couple things. They're going to come out with a web comic. They're going to come out with a new podcast for several times a week called Stormcast. And how come we didn't think of that name when we were driving?
We're just not as smart.
They, I guess, are gonna. So this Stormcast army that they came out with, the Sacrosanct Chamber. It's basically looks like beasts
and wizards.
And so quite.
Here, I'll share.
Here, I got it. Let me do this.
All right.
That's not it. It's over here. Screen share. This screen. Okay, so we got. Wow, that's nasty.
What's happening?
It's blinking, and I don't know why.
All right, I'll share my screen.
Okay, you got the same thing. So.
Oh, do I?
I've got it. It's fine. So we got the this dude like on a griffin, the Sacrosanct Chamber. What a cool looking model he is.
Looks very similar to the. It is a sweet looking model, but my only gripe is it looks almost too similar to the Lord Aquilor.
Lord something on something.
Yeah, Lord Aquilor, something like that.
Right. And so, I guess moving on, these are the looks like this is like the War Machine looking thing that they've got here.
Looks very similar to the old Free People's like javelin thing they had, doesn't it?
Reminds me of the elf.
Or yeah, that one. Yeah,
the elf bolt thrower.
Yeah, that one.
See, you got these guys here, and they got some sort of weird
magical,
but I don't know, like a arrow or whatever you want to call it, bolt or something.
Yeah, crossbow bolt.
And so, and you look here, and they've got this is like an anvil, right? On them.
Yeah, they've got anvils all over them.
So, yeah, so they got anvils.
They're like chambers
from their chamber, and then this is cloth, but they got anvils on them. Moving down, this I guess is the wizards. Here.
Yeah, these are the wizards. They're kind of. I think they could be more dynamic, but
yeah, I think they would look. They could have made them more wizardy looking, but
yeah.
And then is this so? They're basically like this unit with wizards is going to be this many. They talk here about this Sequitur Prime, which was a picture that I don't know if we have, but it was like 3 times the size of a typical Stormcast.
It's just an upscaled version of it. They'll have it'll be a normal size Stormcast.
Okay. Oh, there it is. So pretty cool. And then you look at this thing here, and they've got like a lantern with like it's almost like it's like this looks like a body or something, like it's pulling the soul out of the body or
yeah,
pull back into a body. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's like going along with like the whole Stormcast versus Night Haunts thing going on. It's like
maybe
they're like capturing the souls or something. And
I was going to say maybe they're capturing the souls that they're going to reforge in the Stormcast.
That could be it. That's interesting. It's possible.
So, and then this was something else they announced, which was a Forge World piece. And this thing is huge. It's a corn dragon from Forge World. And so this thing is like the size of like Smog that they came out with from Forge World. And so it just looks kind of amazing that they're going to do that. You can see him again.
Yeah, it's giant. I mean, absolutely huge.
Trying to scroll through a few of the other things from their blog, skipping the 40K stuff. But they did come out with a sister picture, which might be enough to make you play 40K. It looks really cool. They came out with some Blood Bowl teams. We're really not here to talk about all that stuff. We got the spells. Here's the Night Haunts.
I'll pull up all the Night Haunts. I've got it all already.
Okay.
Here we got. So here they've got the a Night Haunt focus, the faction focus or whatever. And so you've got these guys. These are the Chain Rasp Hordes. This guy on the far left kind of looks a little weird. He just kind of looks like his face looks a little weird to me. But they all look really, really sweet. So I guess they all have like a chain and ball element to them.
All of these guys, I worry a little bit about durability.
Yeah, I've heard that too, but honestly, you plastic glue these things on, I'm sure they're fine. No, like with the ball and chain, you've got.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got.
Not as much as the guy with the noose.
Well, yeah, we'll get to him. And you've got these guys, these Glaive Wrath Stalkers. These are. I guess some people thought these were Skaven, like undead Skavens, but that's clearly a horse head of some sort. It's if you like go look at like a picture of a rat skull, it's a lot smaller and a lot different looking.
You are
yeah, I actually looked it up just to make sure. But no, I think these guys are really cool, and they're kind of like a ghostly cavalry kind of unit. I think is what they might do if they are truly undead horses.
No, I just think they're just something.
Yeah, and then you've got these guys, the Grimghast Reapers. I think these guys look really, really sweet.
And so this is one I would guess see that I'm worried about. The guy to the right.
Yeah.
Right where that little white goes to the green.
Yeah, for sure.
One little thing there. That's like the one, and the next one you're going to show.
Yeah.
Like this guy here. So right where, so as you can see from the base, you got the wisps going up to the axe, and then right where the axe is to the hand, that supports the whole model.
Yeah.
But anyway,
but this model is just freaking sweet.
yeah, it's really cool.
And this is from a rumor engine. I guess people thought this was going to be
yeah, this was the answer.
This is going to be a Nurgle unit, is what I think people thought, but nope, it's a sweet death thing. Yeah,
they always try to trick you.
Yeah, they do. This thing looks really, really cool. You've got the Guardian of Souls here, also a really sweet model. This one looks to.
This looks like a name character.
Yeah, it is. Is the Guardian of Souls is a first? It's a wizard. It's a wizard Nighthaunt. There you go. So this is going to be a wizard for the faction, and I would assume that this is also a as an executioner hero. So, and then you have a Knight of Shrouds. That's what it's called. A new Knight of Shrouds. This thing is freaking sweet.
Yeah, this guy is pretty cool.
Although it's kind of weird, like
more horsemen than him. Do they have like units of mounted horsemen, ethereal horsemen like this?
I believe so.
I think they do, right?
I believe so. And I think the heavy metal team did just a phenomenal job painting this, because if you look, they painted these bones in to make it look like it was transparent. I think that's really, really cool.
Oh yeah, that is.
Unfortunately, something that I will not be able. I probably won't be doing. That's just too hard. But that's just a really, really awesome thing they did, I think. And I thought it was kind of like, at first I was like, oh, it's kind of weird. It has no legs. How does it actually straddle the horse? But it's still sweet. It looks really sweet. And here's just a faction focus of the Spirit of Torment, which is this guy.
With the locks.
With the locks, yeah. Kind of dragging these chains.
And we joke about it because there's he's tormented because he's got 3 keys and 4 locks.
Wow. r/dad jokes.
Oh, so I didn't know they put up a war scroll for that.
Yeah, they put up a war scroll for him. And so he's it looks like they are changing kind of the layout of the war scrolls. You see here, this kind of just looks, everything looks a little bit more just nicer.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? It kind of just has a more Age of Sigmar look to it.
Yeah, it's not just like something I do in Excel.
Yeah,
no, but it looks more like a card, like what you would expect the war scroll cards to have been.
Yeah. So we don't know the points on this guy, but he's got some pretty cool abilities. He's got a 2-inch range, 3 attacks, 4 to hit, 3 to wound, -2 rend, D3 damage, and rend is something that I believe these Nighthaunts were missing. Just for, if you look at the Spirit Host, I'm not entirely sure, but I believe it was. It can fly, and they have a kind of cool thing right here. So at the start of the Battle Shock phase, if 3 or more enemy models were slain this turn, pick a friendly Nighthaunt unit within 6 inches of this model and heal D3 wounds that have been allocated to it. If 3 or more enemy Stormcast models were slain that turn, heal 3 wounds instead of D3. So they kind of have this whole battle between the rule. Yeah, the rules also emphasize the battle between the Stormcast and the Nighthaunts.
Interesting. So the thing I hadn't seen this before, but I do not see the Holy Within rule there.
It's right here.
What's that?
Yeah, this one says within, but they do have a Holy Within down here. So I think they're going to be moving away from within on every single thing. I think they're going to be very choosy about what gets within and what gets Holy Within. I think you'll see Holy Within a lot more frequently than we have been.
Right. But
I think
I was wondering if in 2.0 or whatever they're going to say, anytime you see within, read it as Holy Within. So, but I'm guessing that maybe not.
Sure. I think some war scrolls might get that treatment, but it's hard to say.
Could be.
And then here we just have this video, and I guess at the end of the video, the lady talking.
Right. So
I don't know where the exact thing is, but
you can go ahead and look for it. I'll talk a little bit. So,
right.
like in some of their malign portent stories, there was a gal, a kind of off-screen female voice that came out, and there it is. And everybody thought that was probably Morathi, because Morathi came out right after that. But if you look here on this picture that Mark is showing, this is probably the person who was in those.
No, that was Marathi that was talking. This is the more. It's literally the same voice as all, the same voice actor, I guess. So we have we know what it's called. It's called the Mort. It's a new Mortark. It's called the Mortark of Grief.
Right.
But we don't know what this Mortark of Grief looks like.
Well, you can see there's holding kind of like a staff, maybe. It's up by the tree.
Yeah, it's big. That's for sure.
It's big. Yeah, well, all the Mortarks, are big, and they're on the horses. So I'm going to guess that she's probably on a horse that you're seeing here. That's kind of this shadow down below.
Yeah, and she has a gorgeous headdress up here.
Yeah. So, that's what we know. Anything else that we want to talk about, or no? I guess there's some other things you wanted to.
I want to try and find the black coach.
Oh, the black coach is a new model shown. Again, just an
update of old model.
An update of the old model, yeah. I think that's part of the black coach there that you have.
I can't get to it because of this stupid thing keeps saying.
All right, don't worry about it.
Oh, I found it. Yeah, so here's an update of the black coat, or not.
Some piece.
Yeah, it's there's better.
Go out and look at the preview, and you'll be able to see.
It's a gorgeous model, and I would assume that its War Scroll is going to get a complete overhaul because right now it's pretty trash. So,
right. So the whole model's going to be new, and it's going to have a lot of ethereals around it. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a sweet, sweet, sweet model.
So what else did they announce for 2.0? You basically said some new paints.
Yeah, so we've got I guess it's just like an accessory thing going on.
A whole bunch of accessories.
New paints and accessories. So right here we've got Citadel, Technical, Hexwraith Flame, and Nighthaunt Gloom. And these are basically paints that allow you to paint these ethereal ghost robe stuff kind of just easier to make it look like it's
like that
Nihilic Oxide. They're very similar to
Nihilic, thin and very I'm not sure what the right or opaque or whatever, where you can see through it.
Yeah, they're very.
So
yeah, but I've seen people on Facebook forums like complaining that GW caters to lazy painters and paint schemes, but
guilty.
I mean,
I'm guilty that I'm a lazy painter.
Oh no, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that's what
anything that they can do to get
anything that they can do to get new players. I mean, the painting is the biggest, I think, hurdle for new people to get into the game. They're like, I want to play this game, but I don't want to learn how to paint. This just allows more people to play and allows. I mean, some people aren't great painters. Anything that allows someone to make it so I don't have to play against a horde of plastic models is completely fine with me.
The gray elves.
Yeah, exactly.
The gray Skaven.
Yeah, so anything that makes it so newer players and more players can play this game, I think is a great thing.
So they're coming out with some, what's at the bottom of your screen there, some objective.
You got some sweet objective markers. I think these are really awesome looking.
Some of these look like the chests that were in some of the terrain. Hey, look at the Stormcast one here and everything. So those are pretty cool. And you don't have to have these or whatever, but again, it is a visual game, and anything you can add for the visual part of the game helps it.
And you said the terrain, meaning Azerite ruins. Well, I don't know if you saw this. They have new Azerite ruins coming out,
right?
Which look pretty sweet. They've got these
Sigmar
stuff on the side. Yeah, I mean the ruins of Azir, which is yeah. But I mean, I think these look really, really good.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of. Oh, hey, back up a second. One of those that looks like it's got a roof.
right here.
Yeah, which the other ones didn't.
Yeah, it's 2 Azurite runes tall, so they are double the height, is what it says. So these have roofs, yes.
Okay.
Um, and they build the same way, that like awesome snap fit way that the other ones built in.
Yeah.
Uh, it says no more bold excursions to the mysterious realm of kitchen table with some books on it.
That's so true.
And then here we have the wound counters. I mean, we've had GW wound counters for a while, I believe.
I don't really care about this. I mean, those are.
But you have the command and status dice. So
I assume that that means he ran.
he ran. I don't know what this means. He's in cover, maybe. He's in cover. And these are maybe status, or the actual command points. Yeah. I don't know. And then you have scenery dice, which is so you have.
Their attempt to hurt Ben Curry.
I don't know the scenery table as well as I should, but
Mystic.
I should here a number. Yeah, it's 1 is damned, 2 is arcane, 3 is inspiring, 4 is deadly.
Here's our
5 is near evil, 6 is sinister. Yeah, made that for NashCon, so we don't have to spend $50 on dice.
Yeah, but I don't like these dice. So just throwing out my opinion. The command ones, the status ones, maybe, but the scenery dice, I don't like. They don't tell you what they are.
They're not very intuitive.
That's not gonna help me any more than having a regular D6 out there with a number 1 on it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree.
So, I'd rather see the word. Now maybe that it's that way because 1 is not going to be damned anymore. You know, in 2.0 they could come out with 6 different types of scenery. In fact, I would be surprised if they keep the same type of scenery.
Yeah, I could see them having new scenery, or
and so this way they can basically not have the word written on it and be stuck with it.
Right, they can change it.
So what else do we know? Is that basically it we wanted to get through? So
yeah, that's kind of it. I mean,
they said that they're going to come out on the Warhammer community site something pretty much every day or every other day.
You can hear our thunderstorm in the background.
And it says we have 1 viewer, so welcome, viewer. Is there any one thing in particular you're excited for more than anything?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Yes. I am excited for a more strategic double turn.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm not excited about the fact that I should keep pounding on the Tomb Kings thing, but I assume that the Tomb Kings and the Bretonnians will go bye-bye for sure to Legends, but it doesn't say. They said the PDFs that you have will be. But if they
they put a thing on it's called Your Questions Answered, and it says, can I still use my army? Yes, absolutely.
I believe you'll be able to use your armies, but I don't think you'll be able to use them in pitch battle profiles with points.
Sure. Only time will tell.
Only time will tell.
But what are you most excited for?
What am I most excited for? I guess I'm kind of excited most for the new rules and the cleanup of the rules and making like the shooting work better and
yeah, they did say that it's going to be longer than 4 pages.
Well, yeah, their errata is like 12 pages.
Yeah, but I think a lot of this will I think they'll probably change a lot of wording to be more like, just be way more specific, and you won't have as much gray area with these rules.
Right.
And they'll be defining, like, what exactly does it mean to be in combat? What exactly does it mean to do this?
So yeah, we don't know the rules. We've only seen the things that they've shown, and I'm sure that we've missed some things. There's certainly a lot of talk going on out there. I guess I'm excited for the Death Army to see how it fits in with the other Legions of Nagash.
Yeah, and this totally makes sense that why was Nighthaunt not included in Legions of Nagash? Well, this is why Nighthaunt wasn't included in Legions of Nagash.
Right. And it looks like they have their own kind of regen, like you were showing. It actually did remind me kind of Tomb King-ish regen, where it's like you can return models to units.
Right.
But I guess kind of a combination of that and corn, based on corn points or points of units destroyed.
Right.
And so, or models destroyed. So that's really all I have. I think that we're excited about this.
I think it's gonna be great for the game.
The people that, like you said, we know some of the play testers or have met them, seen them play in tournaments, and so we're really, I'm really confident it's going to come out something nice and balanced. Excited about they're going to flesh out the lore and give that to all the people that are really finding that interesting. And we'll just, as we learn more, we'll talk about them in our regular shows. I'm sure that there's a 2-0 frenzy going on right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I guess that's it for now. Mark, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I was looking at doing, I guess, kind of an AOS Tactics series of videos explaining, just showing diagrams of what is bubble wrapping, what is all this. Just let me know if you'd be interested in seeing that.
I think that's a good idea. We should, I don't know. We used to call one we did in Starkly Battles. We used to have an article that we published because I helped publish some of the magazines with ADB, or I would write for them. And we had an article called "Rules That Kill." Like you better know these rules, or if you don't get them right, you're going to die.
Right.
And so there's almost rules to kill with this. So I don't think we'd be that blunt, but yeah, kind of an AOS Tactica series. And these would be short,
3 to 5 minute videos.
3 to 5 minute videos. So I don't know. You guys could let us know if you'd rather see on screen in PDF type format or something, or we just lay models and film it. I don't know what people would rather have. So for me, that's it for now. I'll talk to you guys next weekend. I'm sure there's a ton of news coming out between now and then.
Yep.
So
I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about next week as well.
You guys can all write down the date and these predictions and then tell us how wrong we were. And we'll go from there. So that's it. We'll see you later.
Bye, guys.